with Dwayne Brown. So yesterday, after the news broke that Carson Wentz got what he wanted, a trade out of Philadelphia, Quincy Avery, the personal quarterback's coach of Deshaun Watson, the starting quarterback of the Texans, if you haven't heard, asked this on Twitter: what's the criteria for a quarterback asking to get traded, then actually getting traded? Asking for a friend. I think that's the first time that the phrase asking for a friend, when used on Twitter, actually was asking for a friend, Miles.
Yeah, he wasn't actually just asking for himself. He wanted to know for his friend Deshaun Watson. The first thing I thought when I saw that was, man, how does Deshaun Watson feel about this now being public? I mean, because even, we all know, I think, what's been reported and what's going on there, and the relationship is clearly fractured between Watson and the Texans. But it's not usually that direct, where it's asking for a friend and that who the friend actually is.
Yeah, and look, I don't know where any of this is going to go because I can't predict how the Texans will handle their business. I think their best play would be to go to Deshaun Watson and say, we know you have a no trade clause, give us a list of teams you'd play for, and then start now getting teams to the table. Let's get your best offers on the table and keep letting them work against each other and bid their way to something that would be a great return for Deshaun Watson. If they are going to, as it appears, dig in their heels and say, we're not trading him, and he's going to hold out and stay away, and they do like they did with Dwayne Brown in 2017, where they trade him right before the trade. What are you going to get? What kind of value are you going to get when there's no one left? Now, who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson is so good that a team will upend its plans mid-season if it has to get Deshaun Watson, but this is not the way to get the absolute best and complete trade package for Deshaun Watson. And I think, Miles, at some point, Deshaun Watson, and I credit him for being discreet and quiet and not taking this public. I think at some point he has to. I think they're forcing him to sit down for an interview, do something where he's got to say in his own voice, and he's got to explain why this just isn't working anymore and he wants to move on. I think he very much would like to avoid having to do that. It may be that at some point he has to do it in order to get the message out and in order to get the Texans to realize there is a downside to dragging their feet on this, that he is going to take it public, that he is going to take the fight to them, and maybe he's in the process now of just giving them every chance to do it the right way before he takes it into a public forum.
Well, I think that, first of all, for the Texans, there's no better time to trade him than right now. I don't think Deshaun Watson's value is ever going to be as high as it is right now. So if you're talking about maximizing what you can get out of this trade, Deshaun Watson could go for an unprecedented amount of first-round picks, of draft picks, and you could add in some other players as well, because he is a franchise quarterback who can play at an elite level, and those guys just don't ever come on the market, basically ever. So I think from that perspective, if you're going to do this, and if you're the Texans and you know that Deshaun Watson is disgruntled, he doesn't want to play for you anymore, he has made that very clear behind the scenes, there's only, I think, one good way of going about this, and the way that most benefits the Texans is to trade him right now when his value is at its highest.
Especially because as time passes, teams will be making their arrangements. Already off the board, the Rams and the Lions and the Eagles and the Colts. Although the Eagles could still be in play, I don't think that they will make a move for Deshaun Watson. But the Colts aren't going to, and the Rams aren't going to, and the Lions aren't going to. And those are teams that potentially could have been in the mix if the Texans had been committed to this strategy of, let's start the bidding, let's get an auction going, and let's see where we go.